Tuesday, September 26th, 9:03 a.m. in Maui, Hawaii. And the sun is in gate 46.6, and that puts the earth in gate 25.6. So 46.6 is integrity. The exaltation is the wisdom to secure one's identity through careful consideration of the restrictive potential of commitments. The determination to say no to restrictive commitments. So the willingness to say no to things that are going to limit you and stop you prematurely. Detriment is deceiving oneself and others by overextending one's resources and eventually being in the position of having to break promises, a drive for success that will not say no and will end up breaking promises. So this is that classic over promise and under deliver, right? I'll do this for you and I'll do that for you and I'll do this for you and I'll do that for you, and only being able to do this. And then being defensive as to, well, why didn't you do that? Well, I was busy doing this and blah, blah, blah. I always lean the opposite way. I'm like, under promise, over deliver. Yeah, maybe I can show up and then show up with all the goodies. You know what I mean? That to me has always worked better in my life. And yeah, that's the classic burnout because, so this gate 46 is in the G center and it connects to gate 29 in the sacral, which gate 29 just wants to say yes. Gate 29 is like that full body, I'm down to do it. I'll do whatever it is. And so if you have gate 29, but you don't have gate 46, right, there's an inability to guide that full body yes correctly. So there's 46, and if you have this 46 and someone has the 29, you're the person in their life that helps them gauge whether they've made too many commitments or not, right? Same thing goes for yourself. Like if you have this, you might know what it is that you can commit to, but you won't necessarily have the full sacral energy. So this all the gates work better, and by work better I mean it's like they're more easily expressed and reliable when they're channels. So like with this one, gate 46, like you've got the awareness and the spirit and the determination to say no to restrictive commitments, to say yes to only things that you know that you can do. But without the 29, you might not necessarily have the energy, right? And that's how it's like a puzzle piece. You look at the G, that's an identity center. You look at the sacral, that's a motor center. Motor provides energy. Identity provides the identity, provides you with your essence. And so with that, it's like, that the sacral is going to supply energy to whatever it's connected to. And if it's not connected to the G, well, then it's not going to supply energy to the G. Now, the 25.6, that's also in the G, but this is reaching down towards the heart now. And so both my 46 are in the south node. South node, past direction and environment. Interesting. And also knowing that too, that's like, how you say these, no T yet. How you say the spirit of the self and the spirit of innocence and everything in the G, right? It's like, it's the identity. And like for me, I don't have necessarily an identity. So I feel like I've spent a lot of my life trying to figure out who I was. And one of the big things I had to realize was like finding out who I am isn't going to help me forever. Like asking the question, who am I? That's more important than knowing the answer, who am I, for the undefined. For the defined ones, right, it's already fixed. That's at least the premise within human design. And so, for me, I have the 51, which links to the 25. And so this 25.6 right now is actually locked in exaltation because of my 51, because my 51 is in Venus. And what we have in line 6 of gate 25 is ignorance, which is the false innocence betrayed by actions. The least mild of a negative position where inappropriate action is censored. The loss of innocence through inappropriate action. And the detriment is constant inappropriate and destabilizing actions whose very counterproductiveness strips away the facade of innocence. Constant inappropriate action in times of challenges that can break the spirit. So this one's kind of fucked up, isn't it? Or it kind of seems that way, at least. In the sense that, we have the loss of innocence through inappropriate action, and then we have constant inappropriate action in the times of challenges that can break the spirit. So notice that inappropriateness of action, the ignorance of the status quo, that both of these kind of seem like detriments, TBH. But we have a this or that. This is just an energy that's within the transits that we could either pay attention to, or we can completely ignore and fall victim and not know why. Or we could fall to the blade and know exactly why, right? And so being on the lookout for the loss of innocence through inappropriate action, which I don't think it's. I had this thing yesterday where I didn't know if it was fixed in exaltation because of my 51, or if it was fixed in exaltation because it's fixed in exaltation, but I don't think so. Anyway, we're looking at the transits on the design side, right? So transits only have one column, right? It's just, you have a personality and you have a design, right? But the transit is just it's the current thing, because your design is calculated from the transits at the time of 88 days before your birth. So we say we're looking at the transits on the design side, right? I think, is that what you're asking? I'm not sure if you could rephrase that. Maybe I'm answering the wrong question. Like the left side of the chart. Yeah, if you can give me a screenshot, that might be helpful. But again, with the transits, it's so important for us to understand what is going on for multiple reasons. But the first reason is, like, how do you anticipate? How do you prepare for the weather if you don't check the weather report or you don't look outside, right? And if you don't look outside and you don't check the weather, you might walk out into a rainstorm without an umbrella, or you might walk out into a sunny day with an umbrella, right? Which actually, that would be helpful too. But you guys get the point. It's about being able to don the appropriate mentality so that you don't get swept up in a lot of what everyone else is going through their ignorance. So like on the left side of the chart, so that dragon, the left side of the chart is your design and personality, right? Your personality is on the right side, your design is on the left side. And then on the far right side, on the right side of the body graph, that's the transit. So the design and personality are not going to change. That's you. And then the transits over there on the far right, those are the things that are going to change. And we're looking at the sun and the earth, which are the top two numbers on the right. Which, if you guys noticed, Dragon here has color mode turned on, which there's a color system in human design. And it's the rainbow, basically. First line is 1. So we have nothing in the first line in the transits today. And then orange is 2. 3 is yellow. 4 is green. 5 is blue. And 6 is purple. It was a nice kind of like visual association with these transits, yeah? I'm telling you, it's like human design is just, we're so new in human design, guys. Like, you understand that? Like, human design was brought forward in 87 by Ra. And we haven't even gone through 100 years of using human design. We haven't even gone through 50 years, almost, I think. I'm not necessarily great at math. We haven't even gone through like 50 years of this, which is nuts, y'all. This is nuts. We're just like right at the beginning of human design, if you really think about it. Or you think about how long astrology has been around. Wild. right? And human design has kind of like been there the entire time that astrology and the I Ching have been around, which is thousands of years. But it needed someone to put it together in a way and create a language in a way that we all could now have a super fun Discord community about it, right? So, um, yeah. So with that being said, one thing that's really important about the transits, especially or tracking the transits, especially for reflectors, is being able to track the moon because the moon moves through like 3 gates a day, roughly. The reason why a reflector has a follow the lunar cycle strategy is because, like, if you look at Dragon's chart, right, the numbers on the left, the design and personality are not going to change. Okay, so those are fixed. But the numbers on the right are going to do this whole dance. Now, in neutrino design, you can actually turn off all of the planets and just leave the moon on. And so this is for reflectors. And if you scroll down a little bit, there's a play button that'll scrub through every transit change. And if you just have the moon on, it'll shift every time it shifts. It'll be the moon shifting. And what you can see then, especially if you do the 30-day time range, what you can see then is the dance or the activation that you have throughout your lunar cycle, right? So as the moon goes through a 28-day cycle, it'll move through all 64 gates of the I Ching. And as it goes through that, you'll be able to see, oh, my solar plexus turns on when it goes into this, and then my heart turns on, and then my this turns on, and then that turns on. And that's the loop that is the reflector's authority, is that sequence, that loop. You can even think of it like a song, which now I'm having crazy ideas is for reflectors. If we could figure out a way to assign MIDI notes to each of the activations, we could actually have a program that writes us a song with our unique lunar authority. Ooh, oh my God. I'm going to try and figure that out. That's wild. Um, that you could do that with everyone too. It wouldn't necessarily just be the reflectors. Yeah, there's definitely something in there. Well, yeah, I was like, man, where am I going to find the time to do that? I spend a lot of time already working, so finding time to do these, more explorative kind of things is it's I can see the light in a way. Um in the sense that there's some passive things that I do for income and some more like labor intensive stuff that I do for income that I love everything that I do, which is amazing. Um, and I would love to spend more time being able to devote to crazy stuff like that. So, you guys being here as a part of the Discord community. Again, Discord, our Evolve community isn't even like 6 months old. And so, it's a great privilege and honor and great pleasure as well to be able to interact. Like I've had a decently sized social media following for a minute. Uh, but I've never been able to interact with them the way that I have with y'all. I feel like you guys are like a second family that, like, I go in and I go see my family and I'm with them, and then I come in here and I, do my little micro meditation, then I come pop in here with you guys, and it's like another family. And so, thank you guys for being here and supporting with your presence. And there's going to be more ways to get involved as the server grows, and naturally more technologies that get added into the server as the relationships that I'm cultivating grow and continue. Obviously the app is like a huge piece of the puzzle. Obviously we could not do this without the app. I mean, we could do it without the app, but we'd have to use somebody's app. And it's just awesome that Prana and Alexander decided to bring me in such a close way, so we could all benefit from this. But let's see, how many members do we have now? We've got 1432 members. 1,432 members. Our members, guys. I didn't realize it was that big. That's awesome. I thought I was like at 1,200, 1,300. I don't remember the last time I checked, but or someone told me. Luke probably told me, and I probably was like, "Oh, that's great." My brain doesn't work sometimes, but anyway, kind of rambling on here. So, thank you guys for being part of Tea and Transits. There's a lot of people that I'm seeing. Plant Mama's been around for a bit. Jude's has been around for a bit. Jen and Dragon, of course. Julie, Diamond Eye. Who else we got here? Jen's been around for a little bit. Co's been around. And then we got some new people. Soul Prospering is new. I know that. Perdita is new. And so it's a beautiful combination of faces, new and old, that I'm just really excited to offer a space for everyone to kind of come together. I'm staying. Yeah. And invitation too, guys, to invite your friends. If you want them to, that's one of the reasons why this Discord got started, was because I was like, man, I just want more friends to talk about human design with. And I live on an island, and we live in the jungle. And my partner loves human design, but not enough to like geek out with me like the way I want to. So it's so fun to geek out with y'all. And yeah, so invitation to invite your friends. You can invite them to any channel in particular that you have access to, or just the server in general. Because again, it's like you want your friends to have their own experience with human design naturally. And so for them to be able to find people that have similar chart structure, similar circuitry, that's one of the things that is really exciting about human design, right? It's like, wow, I know nothing about you, but you have the same, sun and moon and earth as me, or you have the same circuitry, or you have the same channels as me, or you have the same defined centers as me. And that injustice of itself is like an invitation for conversation, right? Um, yeah, Jen, of course. Like, and that's the one thing that I wanted to make this server more so about was, connection over education, right? Because I believe that if there's connection, then the education will come, and it has absolutely come in more ways than I could have planned and attempted to lead with education over connection. And so, hi, yes, this is Grand. I joined to make friends that love human design too. Nice to meet all of you. My name is Amy. Hi, Amy. What's up? Thanks for being here. Totally love all the conversations I've had. So enlightening. Yeah, and guys, again, it's like it really is about the connection. Like, you can know all this stuff about human design, but I'm not judging you based off of your knowledge of human design. I'm judging you based off of your ability to connect with yourself. And I am judging you, just by the way. I'll be real with that. But it's like I won't pretend to not judge you, which I think is more bullshit. You know what I mean? Like I'll just tell you. I was like, hey, so I see this and that. Um, so if any of you want some like clear reflections from me, like, hey, am I not selfing in the server? Feel free to ask. I will be honest with you. Yeah, it is a reflectors thing. Um, but yeah, just because it's like there's it's kind of similar to that conversation we had the other day about exaltations and detriments, and how Ross said if he could do it over again, he'd call them this or that, which makes a lot of sense because judgments are not good or bad. Judgments just exist, right? And I'm sure everyone's been in a judgment-free space that felt very judgy. Like they say that to convince people that this is a safe space in order to get something out of them. Um, and then of course, they just talk about everyone behind their backs, which I've been in some of those circles, and I'm like, this is kind of sucky. And so when I host my circles now, I'm like, hey, listen, this is not a safe space, right? This is a space where if you're on a branch and the branch breaks, you better have strong wings. So we're here to cultivate strong wings, not cultivate like, oh, where's my safe space? It's just build integrity within yourself so that everywhere you go is a safe space, right? And that to me is the safest space, because that space is protected by the truth, because that's the world that we live in. Like there are safe spaces, right? But within those like that's there's an illusion of safe spaces. And for those of you that are here who are probably awake, you're aware of that. You're like, okay, they say it's a safe space, but like there's something there. There's some kind of like hidden judgment, and that's not, there's nothing safe about that, really. That's very dangerous. That's where you get like actual cults and narcissistic tyrant dictator level communities. And just know that I'm like surrounding myself with people. I chose my moderators out of their ability to check me. And in a way of like, Marco, your ego's getting inflated, but then also like, Marco, your ego is deflating a little and you need to pump it up. Like with the color change, I was asking the moderators like, hey, should I change my color so that I can be I can like look like a moderator? And Prana was like, I commend your intention to want to like be with us, but you deserve the distinction. And I was like, what? And my cross is rulership, where I'm on the right angle cross of rulership, or a left angle cross of rulership. And so, one thing that I've always been aware of is having the capacity to lead, but never wanting to put myself at the center of something out of fear of, becoming the corrupt thing that I hate so much. And so far, kind of like being at the center of this Discord has been invigorating in all the right ways. And, just seeing everyone in the way that things are unfolding and interacting, it's just been so good. So. Okay, well, I just got a reminder that I have a session in 5 minutes. So, much as I'd love to just hang out here and chat with y'all, I'm going to go help one of my brothers here cultivate some strong wings. And big love to you guys. Peace. I'll see you tomorrow. And we're gonna be in a new transit tomorrow. So feel the shift. Use your app. Figure out what time it's gonna shift. And if you can be in a meditative state during that time when the shift happens, just something that I do. Kind of interesting. So, peace. See you tomorrow, guys. Bye.